Hello, this is part 2 of the instructional video. We are playing the Goblins and we're into the second round. So far the Elves and the Orcs have gone during the second round. The Elves are the first player, so they got to roll the Ruined Blessing. Magic came up, so all players did have at least one territory with a scroll on it, so the Magic's building in this game. The Elves have successfully taken over their main province over here, and they've also gotten an artisan over to this island, so they're producing some real nice resources. The orcs have pushed back the the dwarves up here in the north, and they've also consolidated their main province, so they've scored 3 victory points there as well. So right now it looks like the goblins and the dwarves are kind of fighting for third and fourth place at this point. Although the dwarf still does have their race lord and their hero still in a real good spot there in the back where they can move south or whatnot. So anyway, back to the goblins. All players have purchased units, and the elves and the orcs new units are already on the board. The goblins decided to buy these units down here. They got a couple more bowmen, since any bowmen that are placed in their army are now veteran. And they got a couple goblins. One's a free goblin, of course, and an artisan. So they're kind of a predicament. The elves are moving towards them. The orcs have consolidated up north of them. So right now they're going to just try to consolidate the best they can and score some victory points this round. Kind of see how the other two players decide to move. So they're going to go ahead and use Zandif is going to go on the attack again and attack another elf so they can get this province here. And these goblins are right beside Argana's main army, so they're going to move away from her. They're going to actually move up and attack this dwarf right here. Now that might be a little risky because the dwarves are good at defending, but there are 2 goblins, so we'll see what happens there. They still don't own either of these 2 provinces, although both of these goblins do like the hero. They just the hero needs to use diplomacy to be able to activate those units. So it looks like that's all they can do right now. We'll go ahead and do this first attack. It's going to be 1 yellow die plus 1, because if they take these goblins and move them down to their battle board down here, and I don't know if you can see that, but they get plus 1 to their die roll. I'm going to just move this camera down a little bit so you can see that. Right here, plus 1 to their die roll. The dwarves need a 7 or better, and the goblins need an 8 or better. So here's the goblins, and that's the dwarf. The dwarf hit it with an 8, and the goblins missed with a 1. The dwarf doesn't need to roll because they're just goblins there, so they're going to lose a goblin. And that makes it tough because now they're rolling. They need a 9 versus a 7, but they're going to keep going because they're afraid that Argana is going to end up attacking them anyhow. The dwarf missed, the goblins missed, so we're going to round 3 of combat. Looks like the dwarf hit and the goblins unfortunately missed. So that was an unsuccessful attack. It was a good try. Now Zandif is going to attack the elf. Now again, Zandif is a ranged unit, and they have a ranged bowman in the group, so it gets 2 dice. Zandif hit with 11. The bowman missed, but it doesn't matter. There's only 1 elf there. The elf's going to also shoot its bow and missed with a 6. They need an 8. So the elf dies. I'm going to take the elf and move it over here. And that is successful. So we're going to put a marker there showing that Zandif took that territory. Now, this is important. He does go up on his victory track here. So now he's a level 2 hero. And he's going to get a blue discovery card for that victory. He's got Hammer of the Artisan. This hammer will allow your hero to build fortifications, galleys, and catapults for one less resource. Well, that's good because now he's got some money. He can maybe build those things next round. And he has this quest card here that says claim 2 islands with artisans. Since he can build a galley for less, maybe that's what he'll do next round so he can maybe finish his quest. Okay, so he made one successful attack, got his card, moved up on the victory track. He did score 2 victory points because now he owns that province. So we're going to go over here and move him up the victory track to 2. Now he's on the board. He's going to do some non-combat movement. He's going to move all 3 of these units. Now what's interesting here is that he's got a goblin. Well, the goblin can't move. Typically, if he had owned this territory here, this goblin gets a free move through that territory where they could move all the way to here. But because they're moving through the woodland here, they have to stop at this location. But that's okay. We consolidated there, and we could deploy the new units on the stronghold. So these new units are coming out. And this free goblin gets to go wherever he has a goblin. So he's got a goblin here and a goblin there. Doesn't have any goblins over there anymore and doesn't have a goblin in his army, so he can't put it there. So we're just going to put the goblin over here with this goblin for now. Okay, now he's going to collect his resources. He owns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 territories. So he's going to get 5 gold back. And he's got artisans on the board. And the artisan, he's got an artisan with his army here, right here. It's going to produce him a wood. He gets a wood. He has an artisan here producing wood, so we'll get a second wood. And he's got an artisan now here producing food, which is good because he needs food to build goblins, so he gets food. So he's got a lot of wood, he's got some gold, and he's got food. So next round he might want to trade with the elves. Maybe they'll quit fighting each other, and he can maybe trade some of that wood for maybe some food or something from the elf. Okay, so his turn looks to be over now. So now we'll go on to the dwarf's turn. And I'm going to pause this right now, take the dwarf's turn, and we'll cycle back through to the goblins next round. Okay? Thanks. Bye.